They've scored a lot in their first two games. They very much like to run and push it up. What was your defensive strategy coming into tonight's game to slow them down a little bit?
Basically, just we had a good scout, being prepared, switching 1 through 4, and we know what they do. They're a bunch of little guards that like to pace cut, and they like to shoot a lot of threes. So really, just being on guard with our communication and being ready for the three-point shot.
Can you talk a little bit about the size advantage you guys had tonight? You mentioned they were running smaller guards. How did that work to your advantage?
I feel like for us, just obviously being able to drive and kick out to our shooters because they have to come in, and then obviously being able to get to the basket and create fouls. I think we shot 30. How many free throws did we shoot today? 20, 30 something. So, and I think we did a good job of just attacking the basket and then obviously attacking the mismatches.
For either or both of you guys, going to Kansas State on Thursday, I believe, going to be a little bit better test. What do you expect to see from yourselves in a Big 12 arena?
Just keep the same principles we've been doing the whole time. Staying sharp on our offense and defense, playing together, and we should come out with the win.
You expect that to be a much better test than you've seen so far?
Yeah, for sure. It's a Big 12 team, so it should be a better test.
And Chris, what are your thoughts?
I think my thoughts are the same thing that they said. We got a Big 12 team, so just obviously coming in there ready to play and trying to get the win. That's the main point.
For both of you guys, 3-0 start. You have a better test coming up and for the rest of the season, but you guys took care of business and handled who was in front of you. Is there like some good feelings from that?
I think there's a good feeling from it, but I think us as a team, I don't think we're ever satisfied. I think the other day when we won against Wright State by 10, we were all a little bit upset because we felt like we could have did better. So I think just obviously coming into every game with the outlook of, we don't look at them as K-State. We look at it as we play Duke, UNC every night. So just coming out with that same intensity.
Dai Dai, you played when you were at K-State. What did you tell the team going into Bramlage this week?
Depending on the crowd, it's going to be loud, depending on the crowd. But, that ain't nothing for real. It's just noise. Locked all that out, locking in on the game, we'll be straight.
Nolan Dorsey came in at one point, second half, was on the ground and just really hyping up the team. Can you guys kind of talk about what he means to you guys and what he brings when he comes to the floor?
I think Nolan's a dog. I think he comes out there, and when he come out there, it's immediate energy. He's picking up the point guard 94 feet, and I think he just loves to, help out his teammates. He's a very unselfish player. So I think for him, just him obviously coming out there with that energy, he wants to be first team all defense, second team, whatever it is. So I think he's showing that he can do that.
Yeah, you guys had a great start to this game. I think, Dai Dai, you especially, you came out the gate with 11 points yourself. What was the emphasis going into today? Just the aggression. What was really the emphasis for you guys in terms of just starting the game off really strong?
Just putting our foot on their neck first, coming out, stepping on the gas, not trying to be comfortable coming in, just going in, doing our thing.
Take one more question.
Quick one, but Chris, is kind of like hometown for you, playing for Cal. What's it mean to you to have 3 games under your belt at a Haas Pavilion?
I just think for me, it just feels good to be home, being back in front of the home crowd, being back in warm weather. I'm just happy to be home, happy to be playing in Haas. I grew up around here. I used to come to Cal games all the time when I was a kid, so it's a real big thing for me.
All right, thanks everyone.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. It was a good team win against a scrappy, tough Fullerton team. Fullerton has changed their style of play, and it's very difficult to prepare for. Things came together for us a little bit tonight, but that is a very, very good team, and they're going to be a lot of people this year. Was proud of the way our guys competed. Open to questions.
Let's go down the line.
Coach, it's your first 3-0 start in your 3 years here. Everything's kind of clicking better, I'll say this year at least, visually. 1.5 assist to turnover ratio through 3 games versus 0.9 for the first 3 games last year. Tonight, I think it was like a 17-9, 17-8 number. What does it mean for you and the coaching staff to get off to this hot start and at least so far have 3 complete games?
Well, look, it's gratifying because we've worked extremely hard this summer. I can't say enough about how hard the players work and how hard the assistant coaches work. I mean, these guys are grinding from early in the morning till late at night. They're recruiting. You know, the players are in the weight room, in the training room, in the film room, in the gym. And so it's great to see the hard work coming together so far. We did some good things tonight. We have a lot of room for improvement. You know, we were late on certain aspects of our defense. We weren't communicating. So there's a lot of film that we're going to have to address tomorrow to improve our team.
Mark, you guys step up in caliber of opponent on Thursday at Kansas State. What do you expect from them, and what do you hope to find out about your team that night?
Well, we need to make sure that we can handle a little bit of prosperity, okay? We're 3-0, but it's early in the season. These have been home games. There's been no travel involved. Now we're playing one of the top teams in the country in Kansas State. They have shooting. They have a dynamic point guard. They have physicality around the rim. They really have everything. And so this is going to be a battle. It's going to be an unbelievable test for our players. And it's a great game for us, you know, traveling long distance to prepare for the ACC travel. And so we're excited about the challenge, and we're very aware of how talented K-State is and how good of a basketball team they are.
If I could ask you one more quick question.
Yeah.
You've been talking about your three-point shooters, and your final numbers weren't real great, but you made 4 in a row to start the game. And what did that feel like, and how did that kind of get you guys going?
Well, I mean, look, in the last press conference, Jake Curtis called us out, and he said, you said you're a good three-point shooting team. But he's not here tonight, so he didn't see it. So tonight, what did we finish? 36%, 36.7%. We can shoot it even better than that. We have a bunch of shooters on this team. It was good to see a few of them go in. The first 2 games, I don't believe was a reflection of how good of a three-point shooting team this is.
Yeah, last week you talked a bit about transition defense needing some improvement. How do you feel it went tonight?
Well, so we track everything. Okay, so in the last game, when we went back and tracked everything after the Wright State game, they got some points in transition off of our turnovers. They got 0 points in transition off of misses. So that was a good step in the right direction after we tracked it. We're going to track this. We gave up too many tonight just off of my memory and off of the eye test. But when we really track it, it will be interesting to see where the low-hanging fruit is to improve that. Fullerton's very fast. And like I said, guys, they're a very, very good team, and they're going to beat a lot of people this year.
Through the 3-0 start, has there been anything in particular that's like surprised you in any way about your team?
I think it's been really good to see how well the ball moves. You know, last year I'd come into these and everyone would say, you only had 4 assists, you had 6 assists. Are you working on passing? You know, all these things. And we worked on passing every day. So it's great to see this season the ball is just flowing naturally. You know, we're not doing the passing drills to open practice every day. And these guys are just doing a really nice job of sharing the ball. We can still be much better. I thought the ball got sticky in the second half a couple times. We're drawing 2 defenders and we're not kicking, but it's good to see that.
Hey, Coach, 100th career coaching win for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How special is that for you just as a milestone for your career and also for it to come here at Haas Pavilion?
Well, it's meaningful. It's meaningful. You know, we coach against so many of the greats and, you know, 700 wins. I think Kelvin Sampson is a guy who is probably in a class of his own in terms of just everything he does, culture, winning. And it's great to have, in the profession, to have leaders like that. You know, but what I told the team is this: everything we do is team. Everything we do is team. Players, coaches, managers, administration. Everything is a team, and it's an honor to be part of this. And we hope to continue to build on it. I think there's one more right here. No? Okay. I thought you had one. No. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. Oh, one more. Okay.
Really quickly. Second game of the season where you got some walk-ons to get a few minutes there at the end of the game. What do the walk-ons mean for you for the program as far as preparation goes, and what does it mean for them to get into the game there?
Look, our walk-ons are a class of their own. I mean, you saw in the first opportunity B.J. Fisher got, you know, he almost nailed the shot, and it was an assist, would have been an assist from Luke. You know, we have Steph Marbury, who, you know, we didn't get in tonight, but he's ready. He's ready to go, and he'll have those opportunities. You have Jarrell Clark, who didn't go in tonight, but he's a very special player. But to see Luke Butler go in there, down there in a scrum for a rebound, to be able to corral that ball and put it in, and the shot almost went. I mean, Luke Butler was a phenomenal high school player coming out of Austin. Phenomenal. Dunks, numbers, phenomenal team. So it's great to see. It's great to have those guys in the program, because without those guys, our starters don't get pushed every day. And so it's just, I can't say enough about our walk-on players and even the players that don't get as many minutes as they maybe deserve. So, thanks, guys.